Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And today I have somebody joining us from very near Tel Aviv, Israel. Is that right? I believe. Anyway, I have Itay Paz joining us, and we are going to have a blast hearing his story. So share this out and stay with us. Let me bring Itay on. Itay, welcome to the show.
Good evening, good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, it's morning here, man.
You are.
Yeah. So you're in Tel Aviv or near Tel Aviv, right?
Yes, about 20 minutes from Tel Aviv.
Okay. So you were referred to me by our mutual buddy, Andrew Locke.
Amazing guy.
He's going to be on the show tomorrow,
Oh,
actually.
cool.
Yeah. So talk to me. So I started this show, I don't know, almost 4 years ago now, um, and it was really to help people have a breakthrough in life. Like, people get stuck. They go through hard times. They get stuck. So that's what it's about. So why don't we start with you talking about where you were born and raised?
So, I was born and raised in Israel. I started, well, I'm 48 years old, and I was born here. I live here all my life. And I love Israel. Israel is an amazing country.
Yeah,
And that's part of who I am. And you were talking about getting stuck and unstuck. We'll talk about it, but that's being
yeah,
in Israel. It's part of. If you let the country or the situation help you shape you up, then it takes you to a place where you have to find ways to get unstuck in, and we all get unstuck in. Well, we all get stuck in many
yeah,
times again and again. But
yeah.
I'm always been here and I love it.
So I don't know how does the school system work there? Is it similar to the U.S.? Do you have elementary school, junior high, and high school?
It's similar exactly. The I think the main difference or the main two difference, if you look at growing up, is one is that I think once you go to high school, I think in Israel it's much more like strict. That's how I see it.
Uh huh.
But the major difference is, of course, that at the age of 18, while Americans and worldwide people either go to learn, to go to higher school, to education, higher education, colleges, universities, or go to work. In Israel, it's mandatory for you to go to the army. For girls, go now for 2 years, boys go for 3 years, and it's
Wow.
mandatory. Um,
Mandatory.
sorry.
It's mandatory.
It is, and some people will say, "Oh, it's really harsh," but you know what? This is where I think it puts a person which is still a baby. We have kids. We know
Yeah.
at the age of 18, they're still kids.
Yeah.
They're still not shaped enough to be able to take decisions that adults making. And I'm not saying the army completely changes it, but think about a soldier or a kid which is 18 now. He needs to take decisions in the battlefield. Then he should be like pretty have good adult values and understanding on what he needs to do and what he doesn't need to do, and not just in the field, but in any way. It puts you in the structure. You need to get up in a certain hour. At the
Yeah.
age of 18, you need to be there. Someone tells you need to do something, you need to do something. It's not something that you should decide if it is or not.
Yeah.
So and I think after 2 3 years, you actually get out more mature, and that's awesome. And then
Yeah.
you're more open to do many stuff. That's how I see the bigger difference between the systems.
So you went into the army. I mean, you had to, right? What did you do when you got? Did you end up going to college or I don't know if they call it college or university there, but what did you end up doing from that?
So I started, first of all, in the army. I was actually, I see it as a blessing on what I did. Was I was an assistant to one of for a senior officer in the army, and that took me to a level where he taught me one interesting thing, that or two interesting things I can share. May I share them?
Please, yeah,
So one was, he said, listen, sometimes in life there's a big wave, what we all know today, tsunami is coming, or a
yeah,
big wave,
yep,
and it's not necessarily you need to stand in front of it. Sometimes it's good to take your head down, let the wave go over you
yeah,
and then go up, instead of just trying to fight it up, which is a lesson that I learned. It's a good lesson for life, to learn how to deal with waves that we have every day.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
one thing.
yeah,
And the second thing he always told me, you need to look, when you need to be able to look in the same eye level to the chief of the army, and to the soldier that stands in the, in the, I don't know how you call it in English, the,
the the officers,
yeah,
the higher level.
and the off, and also in the level of the person that stands in the entrance of the military base
Yeah,
and
yeah,
opens the gate.
yeah,
So you need to be able to communicate with people in different levels, and that's what I always believed in. It's in the communication between people, and that's how I build myself over time. Now, you were asking about what I did after the army. So after the army, after I was able to learn and get a lot about communication and how to think
yeah,
in a smarter way, I went and did my BA, my MBA, and like straightforward, like most people go now, oh, let's go to the let's take 6 months and travel, because we didn't have an opportunity. That's many
yeah.
soldiers are going out and thinking, hey, let's go and have a trip, because we didn't have time, because you literally usually go out of the army, sorry, out of the school and directly to the army.
Wow,
And I said no, I went directly, like it was one day after I started my BA, and then
wow,
back to back MBA. I started working right away. So at the age of 21, I already had a job. I was working 200 hours plus a month, plus at the same time I was doing my BA and MBA. And it was all about, let's get to the goals. Um, a different question would be if I value going to doing the BA and MBA. That's a good question. I do value it for sure. And
yeah,
I do think you do get some great stuff. I do think today there are many ways to, well, there, when you go some places, say, oh, you have an MBA. Oh, so you have MBA. Either for internet marketing that I do, that's what I pack. You don't
right,
really need an MBA.
yeah, yeah,
And sometimes you understand that the value of education, it's not necessarily what you learn, because even my wife did she's a CPA, certified CPA, and you learn 4 years, then you go for, and then you go to an office to get a stage, for two
yeah,
years
yeah.
and the first thing they tell you, forget everything you've been taught until now, and we're starting from scratch. So
I mean, and that's the I recently had Brian Tracy on the show, and he's touched the lives of hundreds of millions of people, right? And he's like, he's a high school dropout, and I said, hey, we have that in common. So am I. So I think that you're right, 1,000%. That who was Jim Rohn said a formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. And or I paraphrased that, but so talk about, like, you went through all this, you got your MBA, and you come out of college with an MBA, and what, you instantly become a millionaire, right?
yeah, right, exactly. it
Yeah,
it is, everyone says it took me 30 years to get 30 years experience. So,
right, right,
right,
right,
overnight success. But
yeah,
first of all, as I mentioned, I started to work right away. So I understood already that having a college degree, it's nice, but
yeah,
that's not a guarantee. If you And it proved right, when you look today, is it the degree or actually having the experience? And many places, especially when you talk about now technology and stuff like that, they couldn't care less about whatever theory you learned. It's
Yeah.
all about what you can bring them to the table right now. So
Yep.
it
Yeah.
was a good bet, and I was able to pretty fast to go into different companies and work until a point, which was 26 years ago. I was actually laid off from job from where I worked.
Wow.
They started to can many people, and I was one of them. And I was sitting at home, and you know what? I didn't even needed more than one day to. Well, I never cried anyway for
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
reason. So I always see myself as I perform very well under pressure. So I always
Yeah.
laugh when you put yourself on the wall, something is like pushing you, then I do my best work.
Yeah.
And I literally just sat for a month. If you remember, we were talking about it. Internet was pretty much in the beginning of its stage. We were connecting.
Infancy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were. I called it diaper stage. We were connecting to the internet, and many probably people that listen to the show doesn't really know. It was having like a noisy, like the
Yeah.
connection and people were can't talk on the phone at home while you're connected to the internet. It's like,
I'll
who
never forget going from a 28.8 modem to a 56K.
which now is like what it is. It's ancient
People are like,
history.
what? What is that?
And so at this point I was just sitting for a month and I was chatting with people, and like I said, I believed the, with the power of people, and I met a few people online from Australia, Jewish people,
On
and they were
IRC?
whoa, that was long, but I can imagine it was probably one of the options that we had, or one of the
Yeah.
forums.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they said, well, we're doing something called we're building websites, affiliate marketing, and maybe it's going to be interesting for you. And I said, okay, why not? And I learned it, and I learned it during that month.
Yeah.
And after 1 month, I already had one website without any knowledge, technical knowledge. And think about today, you can build website with like sitting like this, and you can have a website, right? It's like
Yeah.
happening with the
Yeah.
one. Today, it's really one button click website. Back
Yeah.
then, no, 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 you need to work. And
Yeah.
without any training, nothing, I had the first website, and I think the first month I made like $650, and I said, "Whoa, this is cool!"
Yeah.
Like internet, $650. It was pretty well. Think about it, 650 26 years ago. It was pretty much nice amount for one website. And
Yeah.
from then I just started to build more and more. And in I think it was 3 years, I had already 650 websites.
Yeah. Wow.
And they were generating money. Again, different era of opportunities and ways
Yep.
to do things. Today you need to do things a little bit differently, but that was really a cool period of time that put me on the tracks towards the internet for life.
Yeah. I remember those days well. And I mean, I don't know if you ever used the hot dog HTML editor, but I can remember front page, and I was I know you get that, like, it was just different back then, and you had to hard code a lot of things. JavaScript didn't exist. I mean, it was just a different era. And so you were helping businesses get on the internet, building websites. And back then, what would that have been? 1996, 7,
Six,
8,
seven, eight,
somewhere in
yeah.
you were helping companies, businesses get on the internet, start getting exposure. And we'll get into it, but you have I can't even imagine how big your email list is now, but you have this daily email that goes out. I've been a subscriber of yours for, I don't know how long. I wonder if you could figure that out probably, but I know I've been a subscriber for a while. Um, Talk about, like, as you were doing this, because there were a lot of, I mean, technology, as we both know, everybody on here knows, technology changes super fast. And back then it was I mean, it was changing at crazy speeds. So, how did you navigate those waters when you were doing all of this in the late 90s, early 2000s when things really started shifting up? What How did you handle that? How did you navigate those waters?
So first of all, I'm not a technical person. I never been. So my BA and MBA are all in management, in economy, marketing. I have never actually learned anything technical. But I'm coming from, first of all, the idea of simplicity, or if you call one more, the model KISS or whatever, which is keep it simple. I understand how to ask good questions and understand and get the right things. One of the most amazing people I adore, well, maybe I would say two shows, TV shows that I know, which I learn a lot. One of them is Judge Judy.
Yeah.
And, I first of all, as a parent, and I have four kids, so you, I hear how she asks the right questions
Yep.
in order to screen between all the noises, right? If you
Yep.
ask a technical person about, oh, he'll give you an answer like, I don't. I just want to ask a specific question and get the right answer, not what you want to tell me. What I want to ask you, answer to my
Right.
question,
Right.
and
Right.
and that helped me a lot to navigate not just in the technical world, but in the business world, in the online, with the family, with the kids, to simplify life. So I love it, and I still, until today, still listen to her, and it's also improving my English. Of course, I'm not. Israelis are not native English people,
Right.
so it helped me a lot with that.
Judge Judy.
Judge Judy. That's so
Wow.
just this is one, and the second. This is the first show. The second show, which I really love, and there are a few of them, but let's say the major one is, of course, Shark Tank. So Shark Tank again, it's if someone doesn't know, Shark Tank is a panel of billionaires or
Oh yeah.
multimillionaires that
Yeah.
invest in all kind of companies, not necessarily startups, but
Yeah.
well, it could be startup, but it's still not just high tech. It
Right.
could be
Right.
stores or cookies or whatever it is. And what I love again is I listen to the question they're asking to evaluate right away if what you're telling me is a sustainable model or sustainable thing that I want to pursue or I don't.
Right.
It's and that I love it. It's really making my life simple to and this is what I learned. I listen to their question. They have so there's Shark Tank, there's also Dragon Dance in the Canada and UK and Australia Shark Tank. But you get
Yeah.
the deal. It's about listening to smart people asking the right questions. It's not about the answer, it's about the questions.
Yep.
And these two shows and the idea of asking the right questions and understanding the simplicity of things helped me to move over time and also adapt, because like you said, every time something else jumped in, you know what, I was never, I think, the first adapter of physical technology. So a new technology is jumping, that's okay. I might be losing, but I prefer to let other people figure it out.
Yeah.
Let me do the things, and once it's settled down, people know how it's done, then I can do it. And I'm not saying I'll do it better than others, but I can do it very good. So just because I do understand the value of waiting a second and not jumping right away, it's waste of time to figure out things. Sometimes it's a lot of work.
You
And
know, I'm curious though, on a outside of the technology and business stuff. I mean, in Tel Aviv and Israel, like you guys have dealt with things that we don't deal with in the U.S. We don't have neighboring countries dropping bombs on us and all of that insanity. Did you? I mean, I'm sure you've experienced, or at least been on the outskirts of experiencing some of that insanity. How do you navigate all of that as a human being? Um, on outside of business, how do you navigate that? How do you? What insanity have you seen?
so first of all, I want to call. I developed a theory. I call the theory of having no choice. So
Yes.
Israel, and it started back like not me, it's Israel, like maybe 50
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
And you see, the history said that they said back before even the U.S. and Israel had so warm relationship. Israel understood that they have no other choice but to count on ourselves and not
Yep.
about someone else doing things for us or giving us free stuff or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's why in Israel we have special defense systems that no one else in the world, even the U.S., is buying defensive system now from Israel,
Yeah.
from rockets and stuff like that, just because we had no choice. And that's so outside of work, outside of the business or the entrepreneurial side, absolutely, we have no choice, so we need to figure it out. There's a
Yeah.
problem, there's something. That do missiles fall around here? Yeah, sometimes we do. But you know what, it's not just the missile that falls. Once every it's You sleep at night and at 2 a.m. you have like a siren. And yeah, most of us have indoors safe rooms or shelters, so we're protected. But again, I'm far away for now from where it is, so
Yeah.
we have like, I think, 1 minute before it arrives, 45 seconds. But some people have 10 seconds to go to a safe room.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's an issue. And my brother lives in the US, and he was here with his daughter, and she was born there, and there was a siren, and he told her, "Oh, it's like a hurricane in Florida. We need to go into the room because they
You
not."
get, but yeah, but a hurricane in Florida, dude, you get like, several days notice.
Yeah, but when you
So,
get it, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
it's
But
hard to
I
explain to
think,
a.
I mean, the reason I ask is it's something that the average American, I mean, my wife's on here. She's like, wow, like the Americans aren't familiar with that. And that, I think that creates a different dynamic.
It allows us to think differently. Like I
Yeah.
said, we understand that when you say when the shit hit the fan,
Yeah.
we're well, we're not like, oh my god, what we'll do, we need to cry.
Yeah.
We can cry,
Yeah.
or we
Yeah.
can say, what can we do to figure it out? In life and in business, it doesn't really matter. Or if you get fired, or if you have issues, or if you lost money, or you lost whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
you know I, I'm one of the people that, as you grow older, you get more emotional. You have kids, you have family, but
Yeah.
it's easier to deal with these situations when you put yourself outside of the situation emotionally. And one of the things I look at, like, everyone has some days that were like they're down. The energy is low. It
Yeah.
happens. It doesn't need to be for any other reason or whatsoever reason. It can happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say, okay, they look at themselves. Oh, what did I do wrong in life? Where can I go? What's are my mistakes? Oh, and I look at it as look at the analogy of a vehicle. Okay, so you have a car,
Yeah.
and no fuel. Still, there are still cars with fuel. At least if someone watches this in 20 years, they'll say, "Oh, what is the fuel? What is this fuel?" So cars are still driven by fuel.
Right.
So if the car doesn't have fuel and no energy, so do you look at the hole and you say, "Oh, where did I go wrong?" No, you go to right to the fuel pump, to the
Yeah.
fuel station, and you just get fuel. So one
Yeah.
of the things I do when I get stuck or where I feel like, oh, I'm low energy, simple, I just go to the people that fill me with energy. So sometimes a few calls to fellow entrepreneurs, friends. You pick the
Yeah.
people that just give you back the energy, and you just go.
Right.
And that's a good value that I've taken. I implement uh, well many times and over time. Especially now, the past 2 years, the COVID-19. If someone doesn't know, again, in the future COVID-19. So yeah, it brings challenges for everyone. I was traveling almost every month somewhere in the world because we were talking about Israel. Israel is great, but eventually, the big business is worldwide, and I'm a big believer with personal relationships. So it's nice that we're talking
Yeah.
on videos, on phone, whatever it is, WhatsApp. But eventually, there's nothing like a handshake or sitting down and talking together, and that's what I was doing. I was traveling worldwide, and now
Wow.
it and many conferences are canceled worldwide or very limited, and I prefer not to travel with all the risks and all the different limitations, different countries. And so from traveling once a month, I'm basically 2 years already. Like January 2019 was the last time I was on a plane to Vegas, and since then I'm at home basically. The
Yeah.
kids were here most of the time. The past 2 years, we didn't send it to school most of the years
Yeah.
because everyone gets sick, in schools here, and it's a big mess. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you need to adjust yourself for different life
I agree.
in one shot.
Yeah. I agree. So back in the and I interrupted you. Well, I took us a different direction there for a minute, but I just wanted to, because people in I'll just say in North America. How about that? North America, because I have some Canadians on here as well. But in North America, we don't experience the siren going off and tornadoes. We have short notice for those sometimes, right? But we don't experience what you've experienced, and so when you were doing the website stuff, you said in 3 years you had about 650 website clients. Were you doing back then? I was just like, yeah, I'll build you a website, here you go, HTML, blah blah blah, here you go. Um and for whatever reason, I didn't have the foresight to think, well, you're going to have to do something with that website. Like, it's not just a business card. And it sounds like you had the thought of, this website can't just sit here statically doing nothing.
So I want to touch 2 points. So the first one, you were talking about again the missile. So I just want to clear something
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
every it in general it happens every couple of years for
Wow.
about a month. Okay, so it's not like every day.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah. Yeah.
things are happening somewhere all the time for sure.
Sure.
I'm
Sure.
just saying, like a big thing that you see on TV and everything that happens. Uh, should we get used to it? No, but it's part of our life. So we understand where it is. So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to clear it, not that people will be like, oh, we're good.
Yeah.
So that's for the first thing you said. As for, you know, like I said, I never looked at it like, hey, I know how to figure things out for life, but I didn't understand that things needed to change. And I think one of the biggest changes were Google. So Google went into, and all the animals, all the zoo, which is still until today, and penguin, schmingwin, and they did lots of
And
changes and things.
ugh,
Yeah, and eventually we're in a point that either you figure it out, and most people weren't able to figure it out,
right.
or you adapt yourself. And there were so many opportunities. You said it, so many technologies. The email was exploding, and let's say 15 years ago, so the email
Yeah.
was like really crashing it, and we're able to transition to do other things. So it's
Yeah.
about being able to understand that market change, you can evolve, and you can just do other things. You have the knowledge. If you, I don't want to say smart, but if you're savvy, if you understand it, you need to do it. You remember the theory of having no choice. Then you
Yep.
just figure it out and you do the next thing. And the way I did it always, it was the power of having other people. I was talking to people, and people would say most people don't want to share things. And to be honest with you, it's true in many ways. Most people don't want to tell you their secrets. Their secrets. And
Right.
yeah, true. There are secrets. No one wants to give you the business you know blueprint unless you really pay them lots of money.
Yeah.
But you figure out, you get a little bit from that, and a little bit for that, from a little bit for that, not bad things, like good things, and then eventually you put them all together. And from that, I think we had a good run out with email marketing. That's what it was when I went into email marketing. Um, and it works until today, email marketing, as well as about changing industries, verticals. So you do one vertical, and you can shift to other places.
Yeah.
You can do other things. There's lots of opportunities. The market is huge when we're talking about entrepreneurs on online. Okay, but
Yeah. Yeah.
even physically, look at the businesses today. There's so many opportunities, and you can be a restaurant that's crying, oh, we have no clients coming, but you can just do deliveries. You
Yep.
can, reinvent yourself. and that's part of we're talking about breakthrough, and that's the way to do it. It doesn't need to be like extreme. Just find a way, try it, test it, move, and figure it out.
Totally agree with you. We've had to do that. And so what year approximately did you get into the email marketing stuff?
I think it was like 15 years ago, so about what is it? It's 2008, 9, something like
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The email market, it's amazing thing. It's like until today, people say email marketing is dead. Come on, how do you how we communicated over email,
We
and we
did.
opened the email, right? No
Yep.
one, you didn't go to it. So eventually, I think what people say SMS, which is a different thing, but I think emails are still the my people say, but my email sometimes the email go to the spam box. So I have to tell you a secret. Everyone goes over their spam box to find out if they're not missing anything. So
Yep.
eventually, don't worry, if the email should be there, mostly people will find it and answer you. And it's a big thing, right? It's And you don't need like a big list. Some people say, oh, we need 100,000 million. It's about This is the where the quantity is definitely sorry, the quality is definitely most important. I
Yeah.
know a guy that was building a list for just millionaires and billionaires. So he didn't have a list of hundreds of thousands. I think he had a few thousand people, but quality people. And he made a lot of
Yeah.
money of that. So it's just
Yeah.
there's money with everything. You just need to know what you're doing. Be patient. There's no quick money anymore online. If someone
Nope.
tells you, the only
Run.
way you can do quick money, truly quick money, is on crypto, but you can lose at the same time. So,
Yep.
but that's the only place I know you can make quick money and lose quick money. I don't know anywhere else in the world to do that.
Yeah, I have I have, a couple of friends who are billionaires that would never invest in crypto either. So, but I think that um, I look at and I guess I'm lucky because we both have been in the internet world for about the same amount of time. And so, I look at all of the changes. I told you that I did SEO for years until the penguin and the panda updates, and I was like, this is crazy, because I didn't have the desire to relearn the whole, because it was literally, they changed everything. And so I had no desire. I lost all my desire to learn anything more about SEO. Eventually I had to shift and start learning that. But with the advent of YouTube, I can remember back in 2003 probably, I was taking videos and converting them to Flash and embedding them on websites, right? YouTube didn't even exist. And
Amazing.
and so I had this thought that, you know, the next best thing to sitting down and breaking bread or face to face and shaking hands, the next best thing is going to be video. Like it's got to be, like, I can see your eyes, I can feel your energy, I can. Did you have any insight into that, into the video, because it's become huge? Video's huge now. What are your thoughts around video and video marketing stuff?
So first of all, I'm a super person, and I'm pretty much shying away. Although I've been on stages and I spoke on big stages,
Yeah.
both international and in Israel. I made in the past 10 years over 1,000 webinars of my own with
Wow.
thousands of people. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm a simple person. I prefer to be behind the screens to do the work and get the results. And I was always shying away from the video stuff. Saying that, still, video is for some people could be natural. Some people didn't even know until even the pandemic, when they started to put a video and just filming themselves doing stuff and
Yep.
starting making money and getting followers. Definitely, video is here and is here to stay. I know that video advertising is huge and it's growing. We monetize our website using videos as well, so we get income from streaming other people's video on our website.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I always say, if you can do s- there's a this, way in the back, I was always telling myself it's good to have control. Again, it comes from the Israeli concept, or the Israeli Jewish. If I control everything, then nothing can hurt me, right? If I Almost nothing can hurt me. But then you understand, what, I can do a little bit less, and or not a little bit less, I can do less, earn a little bit less, but still I have more time to grow other things.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good to give other people. It's like outsourcing, basically, right? Video
Yeah.
or whatever it is. So sometimes, yeah, I can go and find advertisers, but if I can have a code from a company that places the ads for me, then sure, they take their cut. I make less, but I have time to build more websites. I have time to do other things. So it's
Yeah.
about thinking about how to be more efficient and work smartly. I still work, by the way, I still work 12 to 16 hours a day. I still do that,
Yeah.
but I love what I do. And
Yeah.
we didn't touch this thing at all, but that's one of the things I really tell everyone is love what you do, because otherwise you'll be miserable all your life. Do you like everything you do? No, not necessarily. Even someone who's saying, okay, I like to be, help couples to be happy in life. Okay,
Yeah.
and I do it very well, and that's what my passion. But then you still need to find the clients. You still need to do the videos or whatever it is, the
Yeah.
marketing. You
Yeah.
still need to have invoices and to charge, and IRS and everything. And you don't like it. That's true, but that's part of life, right? When you have kids, you don't want to change a diaper. Maybe some people like it, but you don't want to do it. But it's part, right? It's part of the things.
Right.
So, I'm just saying, it's all about taking it in the right context. And
Right.
there are worse thing happening. And going back to videos, so definitely video is something that everyone should look into. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter for what. You can see kids making, things like the baby shark, and kids are having opening presents and opening boxes, and they make
Yeah.
money off it. Yeah, it's extreme situation, right? A kid that opens,
Yeah.
tested toys and makes millions. You don't see it every day. That's okay.
No.
But there are many others that can make money from much simpler things. um but it's all about, starting small. I would never quit my job. Say, oh, quit your job and jump into the internet, make millions. You can start with 1 hour, 2 hours a day at the
Yeah.
evening after everyone goes to sleep. Do it. Don't, some people say, oh, I quit. Don't quit unless you have lots of money in the bank. Don't quit. It's about, just get it, like everything you do.
I totally agree. I think that the I mean, I'm like you. I'm sure you learned any technical knowledge you have through YouTube University and other things that are online, right? So with some natural insight, of course, you've had a lot of natural insight. But talk about when you because I don't know again I don't know what scale your it's called the Morning Doe, is that right? Morning Doe,
The
your
more you know.
newsletter? Morning Doe. I don't know what scale it's on. I When Andrew sent the email introducing us, I'm like, hold it. Why do I know his name? Why do I know his name? And I'd search my email and I'm like, that's why I know his name. I have like 6,000 newsletters from him. So talk about when you said I'm going to get into the email marketing side, and what was the goal? What were you hoping for?
So I didn't have any goal. Actually, the morning dough itself, it's a baby that's around less than 2 years.
Oh, wow.
It's actually was born from the COVID situation. So we had lots of businesses. One of the businesses that I I owned and I still own. It's called DMI Expo. It's a digital marketing international expo for business held in Israel. It was a pretty big one. We had 2,000 people coming from all over the world.
Wow.
Israel is a big thing in internet marketing, affiliate marketing technologies,
Yeah.
and we had our third, supposed to be the third. This is the brand we started 10 years ago with events, but the third one was supposed, for this brand, was supposed to be in May, and then the COVID hit us in March, and then we had
Mm,
to pause, so everything was
yeah.
postponed, and we said, okay, what can we do? And one of the simple thing was, I read every day the online news. I read it every day. I love it to understand, but I don't spend like hours. I spend just to read what I need to read. And I I saw that it's hard to actually have something that screens and gives you just what you need to know. And from that, we said, okay, you know what? If I do it anyway, why not build a newsletter? That's the business basically. It's a newsletter that brings you, we don't write the news, we don't pretend to write the news, we curate the news on a daily basis and we deliver them to entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, affiliate, digital marketers, business owners, anyone who love the online internet marketing scene, but in a more practical way. So yeah, we had a few months that we had like adjusted the model, and eventually our model is we send you an email with about 15 bullet points.
Yep.
That's it. It's a line. That's it.
That's it.
And yeah, I have what ADD, and it's and today you know what everyone has with all the information,
Yeah.
it's really hard to, if someone send me a long email, to be honest, it's really hard unless it's a legal schmiggle that I need to read, which thank God I don't need these days.
Right.
But if you
Right.
get like a big document of legal, you need to read the contract, right?
Yeah.
But an email, if someone send me a law, I apologize and send back and said, please write me something short. I can't read it.
I I
And
I do the same thing. I can't I can't take that.
and that's the idea of morning dawn. You know what? Sometimes some days we get very little clicks in comparison to other days. Why? Because if I write you, okay, let's say for example, um, I know eBay is raising their commission from 1% to 2%.
Yeah.
If you're not an eBay seller, then you say, okay, I understand eBay is raising. Maybe tomorrow Amazon will, or something changes. But you grasp it as a marketeer, as someone in the industry, and you say, okay, I know it. You don't need to click on it to read it
Right.
unless you really need the information. And that's what I love about it. It's not about the clicks. It's about someone reads it, and that's why it's funny. People were asking us, what's the subject matter that you write for the email to get people to open? And at the beginning, we were writing this guy and this is happening and Amazon and eBay, and you try to figure out what's the best one. And then I said, let's test something else. Let's write, this is uh, you know the assembled curation, whatever,
Yeah.
for today. That's it.
That's it.
And if you give enough value inside, then people will open, right? If Bill Gates will send you an email and say, hey, and you know it's from Bill Gates, right? It's
Yeah.
hey, and every day he sends you an email, the topic will be hey, just hey one, hey two, because you know it's a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
You will open it because there's a value for sure from him. So you don't really care about what the topic is. And we found out that once we changed it, the open rate just was stable and grow. And people know that we get the email, we open it, we can read it for less than 2 minutes, and
Yeah.
that's it. We want to read more, and we do it. You were mentioning SEO, so the list grows completely organically. So we're not paying anyone for any subscriber. The good thing about it, we don't spend money, right? It's the best
Yeah.
thing. The second thing is, people that registered are people that really wanted to register, because you can have
Yep.
all kind of sticking and tricks to get. I don't want, if you don't want to be in the list, don't register the list. We even ask double opt-in. We do everything by the book to have a quality list. So that's
Yeah.
the great thing about what we do. We have now just crossed the 17,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Would I like to have a million? Probably. But we're growing steadily, and we grow only on organic traffic, which is cool. And that's freeing my time instead of going and buying traffic and stuff like that
Yeah.
to invest in content in SEO, and then we bring subscribers, and it's pretty cool.
What
It's for
is
everyone.
what is the website address for people to check it
It's
out?
morningdough.com. Probably we'll have a link somewhere, but it's morning without dash, just straightforward. Morningdough.com. And no, we're not teaching how to make dough for your morning biscuits or whatever, muffins. No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Although it could be really, one time we can send like maybe on the 4th of, on April 1st, right?
Yeah,
Your
right.
morning dough and send you. But
Yeah.
it's basically simple, just a bullet, and that's it. We send it at
Yeah.
it's 6 a.m. on Eastern time,
Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah.
But it's a worldwide. I know you have listeners all over the world,
Yeah.
not just in North America.
Yeah. Right.
But definitely, we send it and people read it anyway. Some people tell me, listen, I love it, but I'm so busy, I'll keep it for the weekend, and then I spend a few minutes just going through them. Well, that's fine. And not everyone
Yeah.
opens every email. It's not
Yeah.
about that. It's about just, and we're having fun. We actually, when we start a day with every day with about few hundreds titles, and we screen them to 13, 15.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
like it's a process. So we have like few tiers. Some of them are done automatically. The collection is automatically, and then we do it. I have one guy doing it manually, and then I do it myself. By the way, I do the last editing myself because I put just what interesting for me. So obviously, it's not for everyone, right? It's just for people who there's no special unique way I'm saying it, but that's what I like to read,
Yeah.
which is cool.
I love it. Now, and that's just part of um the things that you do. You do other things as well, the website development and all of that. When it comes to and I know you've had to have experienced this, like um the people that are selling these ginormous lists, email lists. And I've had I'm sure you've had people say, "Hey, I bought this list with 250,000. Can you tell me how to email all of them?" I'm always like, I hope you didn't spend a lot of money on that because, homie, don't play that. I'm not helping you. So, and I hired a guy one time that I got this big list and I'm gonna and got my domain blacklisted. And it is not easy to get off the blacklist if you get blacklisted from spam email. So talk a little bit about that because I'm sure you have some experience in that realm.
We have a lot of them. So first of all, I have to share a funny story. So the DMI Expo, the conference. So about a month after the conference, I get an email from some kind of domain that you never heard
Yeah.
about before, and they say, we have the list of DMI Expo attendees. Do you want to buy it from us for your marketing for your next event?
Mm.
Which is funny. They're trying to sell me my list, but don't. First of all, they don't have, because I asked them to send me some kind of an example, and they sent me
Yeah.
like 30, and out of the 30, just two were actually on my list.
Right. Right.
So most of these people are just selling crap. So if someone offers you to buy list, to be honest with you, it's crap, because if you add the list of, let's say, Amazon buyers, okay, or fashion buyers on Amazon, you can
Right.
make a lot of money without actually going in and sell it, which is a legal thing anyway to do.
Right.
So first of all, I don't think buying selling lists is good to do. It's not a legitimate thing. It's not legal to do, but I
Right.
would not recommend it. It's very easy to burn your domain, your servers, your IPs. Gmail can ban you forever and
Yep.
ever and ever.
Yep.
Your hosting company, your ESP, which is the email service provider that you
Yep.
send the mails from there, you can get a lot of hit. Can you do it? Yeah, it can be done. But I
Yeah.
can tell you, you need to spend tens of thousands of dollars to be able to do that in a right way. And it's not, well, again, if you have lots of money, say, oh, I bought a quality list, I want to try this venture, great. but I wouldn't do that, especially with all the legal issues. And when I get emails that I shouldn't get, I click spam. I don't even think twice. Again,
Yeah.
it's just it's easier. Some people say, "Oh, so it began from the part where I would say I get an email from unsolicited email, and I would find the unsubscribe. I know the value of email. I know what happens if you spam,
Yeah.
as long as it's not like the hard spam which says click here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you click on it, you get to a website that tell you write your email. So I understand the system is pretty crap. So I started to do just and Google today allows you also to unsubscribe automatically, like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that I wouldn't do that. It's not a business I would recommend. It's better to do it clean. There are many ways to do it very cheaply.
Yep.
um I'll give you just an example. So let's say you have a list and I have a list, all right, Ken? So I say, okay, Ken, I'm emailing my list and telling them, hey, go, there's a great newsletter for Ken produces weekly, daily, and you say it to your list, and it costs us nothing,
Yep.
and each of us gets subscribers. We're not competing directly, so but we have great audience that we can share, and we
Yep.
got each subscribers without spending a dime. So and they actually subscribe because they wanted to. So I'm just saying, don't get me wrong. I went through the gray lines, and that's okay. But I'm just saying, it's as you grow older, you get the gray hair.
Yeah.
You understand
Yeah.
that sometimes being more conservative, being more slow,
Yeah.
it's better. We see now the young people that gets in the industry. We are the veterans, but young people go, and some of them are making zillions, millions from all kind of website, and doing and tricking Google and getting to first position for whatever online gambling bonuses. And but they're there, and tomorrow they're going. We're like, we've been there, we've done many things, and
Yeah.
now we understand it's all about stability. So
Yep.
unless you're really young, I would say do whatever you want. Again, not just online. Build something more sustainable. Do it smartly. Do it simple. Keep it simple,
Yep.
because it's really difficult. Once you have too many different elements, it becomes very hard to do. You were mentioning video, so people say, "Oh, you need to do video, you need to do email, you need to do this, Facebook." You can't do it all unless you have a team. It's really tough. So you need to pick your battles,
Yeah.
select whatever works the best and whatever works best for you that you enjoy. If you hate video, don't do videos. I don't do videos. If you like, this is a different kind of video, right? It's a webinar,
Yeah.
it's conversation. There could be one person listening or zero or million. It's again, it's very intimate. when
Yep.
when you put a camera in front of my face like that without anyone, I get stumbled. I don't know what to say. I say, I can talk, I spoke on stages, but still, when a camera, just me and the camera, I get like silent. So do whatever you like to do and build it the right way, so enjoy it. Otherwise, you'll
Yeah.
be miserable. Even if it's not just entrepreneurial. Even if you go to work somewhere for someone, if you don't
Yeah.
like it, don't quit tomorrow morning if you don't have an alternative. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
figure out, do something that you love. Otherwise, you'll
Yeah.
be miserable all your life,
Yep.
and it reflects to the family, it reflects to other things.
I agree, and I can help you with that camera shy stuff. But
Thank you.
the I think that so this being breakthrough walls. What are in your opinion? And I ask this question of everyone. What, in your opinion, holds people back in life from two things? One, financial success. And the second thing is happiness, like real freedom and joy. And I do think that they're related because I've been broke and homeless and I've been very wealthy, and very wealthy is much better. So, what do you think stops people from happy or having it all in life?
So I think, first of all, I think it was Grant Cardone said, or something like that. I'm not probably saying exactly his words, but um, uh, having no money will not guarantee you happiness, but having money will make your life simpler.
Right.
For sure, right? When you need to decide, and I go to the extreme, right? Are we going to go to vacation, or are we going to send our kids to school, to college? Then that's struggling, right? It's like, well, it's not struggling, but I mean, it's like you would prefer to have both. I'm not saying send your kid in a private plane to school, right? But I'm just saying it's about having at least the comfort, right? I always said, what's financial freedom? I said the financial freedom is to be able to get up in the morning whenever you want, but you still get early in the morning, like I do, just because
Yeah.
you love what you do.
Yeah.
So I have the option to do it, but I don't. So I think in terms of the things are connected for sure.
Yeah.
At least the base thing, because once you need to have enough money in order to sustain yourself and to make decisions based on um, you know um, clean table, no constraints. So
Yep.
many people open businesses like because they were laid off, like I did, right? I had
Yep.
no choice, right?
Yep.
Well,
Same.
this is what I did,
Yep.
but it's not necessarily because I wanted or someone wants to. He said, okay, so I'll open a business, and that's why you see so many businesses are failing, because they didn't want to do it. They had no choice, and they decided to do that. So if I had money, I can decide, okay, do I want to open a business, or I can sit for a year and find a job. But going back again, I think the biggest challenge for people in terms of getting out of the cycle of money is about understanding that making your life simple. Money is not everything. Don't overspend. People spend when you have money. It's easy to spend.
Yeah.
When you're young, then and you start with your mortgage, whatever it is. Then let's say you earn X, and your expenses are X more or less, and then you earn double, and then your expenses are double, and then whatever you make, you spend. It
Hmm.
doesn't need to be. And actually, the COVID was actually showing us what happened. We were going into our homes. My fuel consumption went from filling the tank every, let's say, 5 days to every 30 days.
Right.
we
Every
were
five
we were
weeks.
yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
go anywhere. We were
Yeah.
here, and
Yeah.
suddenly our bills went down by 50%, and
Yeah.
nothing happened. We still were the same family. We were actually enjoying ourselves together. I
Yeah.
think the COVID was able, again, to whomever took it in a certain way, that we took it. We just said the best way to protect ourselves is stay indoors, and we're able to enjoy the kids more, to do fun stuff, and then go back to the thing that money, which was a constraint for everyone eventually, in one way or another over the years, is just saying you can live. Again, you don't. Our parents, my grandmother was an Holocaust survivor. She was eating in Europe the potato peels from the trash of the others, and and you get it, and you say, okay, so we're not in a bad shape, right? No one is in
Right.
bad shape.
Right.
Just think
Right.
about it. You don't need to go to a restaurant for $1,000 for a dinner. Yeah, if live simple. But I have to share with you one thing. I always, the past 10 years, I was flying always business class. And people saying, oh, business class, you can. But I don't see this is part of a tool for me. You're flying
Yeah.
from here and arrive to Vegas. It's about a trip of 30 hours. And the next day, you need to stand with people and do work. And
Yeah.
it's part of our tools. And business wise, it made sense. Otherwise, I would never spend. I never spent $10,000 on a ticket. It doesn't really make sense. So yeah, instead of 1,500, we paid $3,000.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that's part of the business. It's part of the mind. We never, I don't go with expensive watch. I don't have a. People don't. I don't know. Still, people care about if you have a $10,000 watch. I think it was Warren Buffett says he's driving. He has a simple suit. He has a simple car. Again, I'm not saying you can have whatever car you like to have,
Yeah.
Tesla, Mercedes, but still, don't buy a Tesla if you can't afford it. I think the
So
American system or the financial system in some countries allows you to drive a Tesla for $200 a month. Um,
yeah. Yeah.
in Israel, when my twins were born 10, 12 years ago, we bought a Chrysler minivan, the Grand
Yep.
Voyager.
Yeah.
It cost here $85,000.
What?
Now my brother was laughing at me. He says, in Florida, the simple people are driving this car. It's a $18,000 car. Here in Israel, 85, because we have taxes, because of the,
Yeah.
someone needs to pay for all the
Yeah.
uh
Shipping. Yeah.
and we had to make the expense. And here it's like a luxury car. It's not a luxury car, but for me it's not about, oh, what brand I wear, what watch or whatever. I don't really care. It's all about live it simple, and
Yeah.
just ma- I wouldn't say save money for, well, you know what, and save money for bad days.
I think, and I do I agree with most of what you've said for sure. And I think um Grant Cardone's a buddy of mine. And I've I know him. I've hung out with Grant. He's amazing. He's on a different level as far and is I'm talking about his thinking. His thinking is on a completely different level than most people. I think personally that it's like, hey, I've done both. I've lived a life of luxury and I've lived a life of simplicity. Um, and I like luxury. I don't own Grant has these multi-million dollar Hublot watches and I have an Apple Watch. So
Oh, the poor people, right?
right, right. Hey, I'm Dick Tracy. I get calls on my watch. But I think that I mean it's up to each individual user because I think that or person, I mean, Itai, I think that you would agree that life eventually teaches you, like, right? And you've either got to come up to that level or you will get corrected by life. So I think and for anybody, you brought up the that your grandmother was in the Holocaust, and which is just anybody that wants to really put things into perspective should read Viktor Frankl's book Man's Search for Meaning, because holy moly. But I think you're right. You've got you have to learn how to live. You see these kids out here that are renting private jets that never leave the hangar just so they can do a photo shoot inside. It's just like, what? You just spent $3,000 to do a photo shoot for 30 minutes on a private jet. That's insane. That never leaves the hangar. Like, it's crazy. But it's the Instagram. It's the it's
But it's
crazy.
also the experience, right? We get
Yeah.
older, we have different values, not because
Yes.
of value of love. We understand life differently than others, things that we didn't understand 20 years ago, right?
Right.
So some things that my grandmother would say to me, I would never figure it out unless you grow and grow and grow. And then you have your own kids, and now you understand, oh, that's what happened when the kids do that or say that, right? And then you get older and older and older.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, you don't like I look at some 25-year-olds and think you're
We
you're
don't
in
understand.
for an awakening. You'll eventually wake up. But man, I am so I can't believe we've already been on here an hour and 3 minutes. I can't even believe that. Um,
Amazing.
I am very very grateful that that Andrew introduced us and you came on and shared. And everybody should go to morningdoe.com and subscribe to your email. I think that I mean, again, I don't know how long I've been a subscriber of yours, but I know it's been a while. Um, Itai, I think you're a good man. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your wisdom.
And I appreciate you having me, and it was a great experience. And definitely, I would recommend people to show up tomorrow and listen also to Andrew. He's a good friend and a good guy, which I also met accidentally in an event like 15 years ago in the U.S. And we
Wow.
started to talk. So definitely show up tomorrow to listen to him. And I appreciate you, Ken, as well, very much for everything.
Yeah. So are there any parting words of wisdom that you would like to leave the audience with?
Well, I just have fun, enjoy yourself. You live once, and again, don't get crazy, but enjoy your life, enjoy what you do, enjoy your family, and have some time for yourself as well, because we sometimes fun ourselves. too busy to for ourselves to enjoy. So just make it good for yourself, for life.
You're awesome, man. Thank you so much. And thank you to
Thank you.
everyone who's watched and shared this out. And make sure you go over to morningdough.com. It's scrolling across the bottom of the page there. Go over to morningdough.com and subscribe to Itay's newsletter. I get it every single morning, and I have for a while. I thought it had been way longer than a couple of years, but I could be wrong. I honestly don't even remember where or why or when I subscribed. Maybe Andrew told me to get on it, but amazing stuff. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Hang on for me. I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you to everybody who's watched, and we will see you guys tomorrow with the one and only Mr. Andrew Locke. Disney. He's the Disney guy. It's insane. So Itay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.